In this video, I'm going to be giving you my initial impressions on the brand new Altra Experience Flow 2. Okay team, so here it is, the Experience of Flow 2. Now we did have, I think, the previous version of this shoe on the channel, but this version has actually had some significant changes, and we'll come on to them in just a bit. Right, so Altra shoes. Now if you don't know what they are, we'll go and check them out at sportshoes.com. Now they're a brand that promotes that sort of natural foot placement and the way the foot should work and sit in that sort of natural position, okay? They design their shoes so your toes, look at that, yeah, you've got different fits, but your toes, instead of being like crunched in like normal, they're nice and spread out like that. They want to promote that more natural way of running. Now this shoe has a 4mm drop, and if you don't know what drop is, that's the heel to toe. Okay, so this shoe has 4mm. Altra built their success on shoes like this, the Touring, which is a 0 drop. Now that means they've got the same amount of foam in the heel as you do in the toe. And again, that's promoting that sort of natural foot movement. See again here with that sort of natural toe placement, the way they get splayed out there, yeah? Now, if you compare that to a normal shoe, you can see the difference, especially on the top, right? But this is the Touring 8, okay? And I really like this shoe. And this shoe is probably the reason why I review Altra shoes on this channel, because I really like this. This is a shoe that I chuck in occasionally to the rotation. I just really like the feeling it gives me on some of the days that where I just fed up of being in overly soft shoes or built up max stack shoes or some of the shoes that we have to test. We've got a really hard life here on this channel. We don't. But yeah, sometimes you just want to move away from that softness or the plates or whatever we've got and move back to something more natural. And that's why I like the Touring. Now don't get me wrong, a 0 drop does put a lot of pressure on your calves if you're not used to it. And that's something to be aware of. If you're going to go down to 0, you need to transition, okay? Now what Altra did last year, I think it was, they developed the Flow Experience shoe with the 4mm drop. So they made it a little bit more mainstream. But the issue with the first version was the foam was a little bit too firm. And that's been changed. So now before we get into the stats and features, let's do the disclaimer. And thanks very much for watching it. I know it's a pain, but you do need to watch it. And also I want to give a shout out to sportshoes.com, who are kind enough to send me this shoe. You can get this shoe and other Altra shoes at sportshoes.com. And if you're a 40 Rounds Running Club affiliated member, it's £20 to join over at 40rounds.com. You're going to get 15% off of this shoe and others. Okay, let's do those stats and features. Okay, so the Altra Experience Flow 2 is £130. Like I said, you can get 15% off of that. New midsole Ego P35, which is softer. 4mm drop, like I said, we've actually got 32mm stacked in the heel. If nobody worked that out, that's 28 up the front. We've got an updated heel design for improved comfort. New upper on the shoe as well. We've got that standard foot shape fit. 253 grams in my UK 9.5. It fits true to size. Let's take a closer look. So here's this new upper, which is lovely. Lacing and lockdown's good, comfort's been improved, and actually it's noticeable. There's your standard foot shape, and here's our new midsole. I actually like the classic silhouette look of this shoe. It looks like quite basic, but nice, refreshing, don't you think? Now let's get on to the performance of this new midsole. So look, it is noticeably soft even in hand, but underfoot it feels so much better. They really have improved this shoe with this new Ego P35. I'm not really sure what P35 means. It wasn't in the sheet I got given, but I'd like to know what P35 refers to. But yeah, Ego foam, not Eco foam, is definitely softer and it has improved the ride. So that's good news, because if you are after a lower drop shoe, this is now one to consider, because the previous version was too firm. I must compliment this shoe on the outsole. I think it's phenomenal. And it's the same with the Touring actually. The outsoles on these shoes are really good. And it's the same with the uppers as well. Uppers on Altra shoes have always been good. And overall actually, the comfort and the fit and the lockdown, the amount of foam they've got in the tongue and around the heel is just on point. It really is a nice place to be. Shall we move on to likes and dislikes? Like I said, I like the classic silhouette look here. I think it may be the colourway, but I like the look of it. I like Ego P35. I like the laces and the lockdown. I like the comfort. I love the outsole. And I love this natural foot placement, okay? And I like the ride. This ride, again, has been like massively changed. I can't overemphasize how much better this shoe feels underfoot versus the previous version. Now the thing is as well, right, if you're going to get 15% off of this shoe or even another code and get money off of this brings the price down to a point where it's actually worth considering. Because if you are somebody who's after a lower drop shoe, then this now brings itself into the game, because the improvements in the foam and the price, again, coming down, actually make this appealing. Now, while its audience is limited to a degree, because most of us tend to go out and buy those 8-10 mil drop shoes, if you are someone who's had their gait analysed and been told that you need a lower drop shoe and you want a daily trainer, then this is one to consider. So there we go, people. Look, we don't need to waste loads of time on this shoe. It is doing what you'd expect it to do. It's performing very well. It's got a new improved foam, which has made a massive difference. It is that natural foot placement with that lower drop. So it's doing all the things you'd expect from Altra. It's built well. I think it looks good. It's ticking a lot of boxes. And if you're getting it at a discount, you're getting a very good shoe at that price, if you want that lower drop shoe. So there we go, big improvements on the Experience Flow 2. Well done, Altra. As I say, well done on the Torrent 8. I think this is great. If you're after a zero drop shoe, right, I don't think this can be beaten. I absolutely love this thing. It's just great to pull out. As I said, we live our life now with these max stack shoes, carbon plates, TPU plates, and all this sort of stuff. You think, compare this to like a Primex Strung Free, just how nuts that is, 50 mil a stack and all this sort of stuff. And then you got this, which is the total other end of the spectrum. But that's not a bad thing. So yeah, check out the shoes from Altra, people. I definitely think they're going in the right direction. This is a big improvement. I can't emphasize that enough. This foam, and I still would like to know what P35 means. I'm actually going to go and ask them right now. So while I do that, you make sure you subscribe. Yeah, get us to that 22 million subscribers and all that sort of stuff. Head over to sportshoes.com and make sure you buy that shoe. Again, get 15% off if you're a club member. And I'll catch you guys later.